What's up, guys and gals? It's your host of the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter review for Kengan Omega. Kengan Omega, chapter 219, entitled, Is It Over? Yeah, it's pretty much wrapped up in a neat little bow. This was our rescue arc, our inside arc, our small transition arc between tournaments, pretty much, right? And some people might be disappointed in the fact that the arc is, before we get into the chapter, this is basically the end of the Ryuki rescue arc, or the inside infiltration arc, whatever you want to call it, right? And it's short, sweet, to the point. We got a little more lore, a little more flashback stuff. We got Ryuki, and we got out. I don't know if anybody's expecting this to be a super long arc, or if anybody's disappointed by it, but this was not meant to be like Sasuke retrieval arc sized or anything like that. This was meant more in the line of, for Hunter x Hunter fans, the Killua rescue arc, right? Or Shaman King fans, both arcs are very similar, a lot of parallels, and they came out around the same time. The Ren, Tao Ren rescue arc, right? Short, sweet, to the point, and that's sort of what this was. It was more in that vein. It wasn't meant to be this long, overarching thing, you know, like 100 chapters long. So, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with the inside arc overall. But what do you guys think? So before we get into the chapter, just what do you guys think of the arc overall? Because it pretty much is over, right? And the chapter, so yeah, so let me know in the comments down below how you felt about that. Now the chapter itself, I love the interaction. Shen has zero time for Yan right here. Because, you know, obviously, Shen is beat up a bit right here. Our main beer buddy, Jackie, is a little beat up from his encounter with Mukaku and stuff, right? And Yan is just like, how in the hell did this happen to you? Like seriously, like, how did this happen to you? Please, for the love of God, tell us. And he's just like, something weighing you down? You are, you moron, and stuff like this. And he's just like, how did you get injured and all this stuff? Now, Mukaku is 100% dead. We already knew it, but there's his dying corpse just all bloodied and stuff. Now, I got a bit of a bone to pick with Mr. Tokita Nico, Tiger Nico. I get a little bit number 6. I got a bit of bone to pick here, because what he says here is, after all the shit he's pulled over the years, this is how he ends up? Pathetic. Okay, so Mr. I think I'm all that in a bag of chips, who, by the way, number 4 killed you, as from what we understand, he kicked your ass, and the only reason 4 is dead is because of the injuries, because of the high diff battle, but you lost to 4, just so we're clear. And if you knew he was around, you never went back after him. You ran away from him back in his prime, or whatever you want to call it, and now you never came and tracked down a 100-plus-year-old man and took him out. The fact that he lived to 100 in the inside and stuff like that is a testament to his strength. It's got nothing to do with you. Like, what do you mean pathetic? You think someone's supposed to look good after they're... First off, 100 years old plus, and was just sliced in half. You expect him to look good? This is how he ends up? He was facing the connector first and foremost, and the next line, this is what I like, is that after this, he says, was he strong, connector? And he said, no, he wasn't bad. In fact, he's definitely a master by, you know, by your guys' level, by your standard. He's a master for sure. And Tiger Nico goes, by my standard, by our standards, way to rub it in, like, because he knows that Shen is just another level, which is a total plot problem and power scaling problem, but Shen's just a tier above everybody we've ever met. So, but by his standards, so he's got some fucking nerve betraying him, running away because he knew he would kick his ass, running away after betraying him, then never having the balls to come and face him himself, has the dude who's just Goku in Kengan, for all intents and purposes, show up and do it with relative ease, and then actually, like, say he's pathetic. It's like, pot, kettle there, baby. Little bit of that, you know, like, he's got no room to talk as far as I'm concerned. He lost to 4, ran away from Mukaku, never bothered to actually face him himself, and then when he gets killed by a dude who could do the exact same thing to you in a very, you know, disrespectful way, you think it's pathetic? Oh yeah, like, you wouldn't look exactly the same if you fought Shen. Like, piss off, Tiger Nico. Your time was in Ashura, and it's goddamn well past. Okay, Shen's the new kid on the block. All right. So yeah. Either way, so I do have a bone pick, so my bone is now picked. My bone has been picked. Tiger Nico, you ain't impressing me anymore, bud. So then Yan basically goes on to say, like, but if he was nothing special even to you, yeah, okay, he's a master, and maybe we would have had a tough time. But you know, you could have come out of this unscathed if you said by your standards. So how did this happen? He says, well, I wanted to enjoy myself, so I limited myself a little bit and stuff. And he's just like, why do you go out of your way to make things harder? And literally, Shen is the embodiment of abridged Goku, or to a degree, super version of Goku in this point. He's so strong that he's like, I want a good fight, you know? It's like, well, give him a sensu bean. I want a good fight, you know? He's literally got that mentality, and Yan is just calling him out on that bullshittery. He's like, this is what's gonna get you killed, you moron. Either way, he's got no time for it. He's like, Gilbert wants to introduce you to someone. I gotta get out of here and stuff. And I love that Gilbert's like, Connector, it's pleased to see you. Gilbert, what crawled up Yan's ass and died? He's got a rod this big up his ass. Like, I didn't know you guys stopped at the sex store on the way over and shoved it up, you know. It's because he's just such a stick in the mud right now, you know what I mean? So I feel for Shen. Shen is comedic gold in this whole scene. Alright, he is just awesome. We love Shen. He breaks the power scaling 110%, and I don't know where we're going to go from here, but at least he's a fun-ass character. If he's going to ruin the power scaling, at least he's going to do it with sarcasm and a joke. You know what I mean? At least we're going to have a good time watching him do it, right? So I got no problem with Shen as far as that goes. And we get to see Gilbert, and there's Willem. Not William, but Willem. Not realizing, like, he's introducing his right hand sort of idea. Willem and stuff like that is who he's introducing to Shen. And he realizes, like, this guy's not all that strong. He doesn't impress me at all. He might, and this is actually an incredibly, because it's the worm, and ever since Omega with all this body double crap early on, as I said, I was still under the impression Kaku might be a body double, like we were introduced early on to the first arc of Omega. That's Willem's first thought. He's like, I don't sense anything from him. It's like, he doesn't impress me. Is he a body double maybe or something like that? Like, that's where his mind goes right away, and I'm like, not a bad assessment. And why is Gilbert just being so, like, bowing and stuff to this guy, and then all of a sudden he recognizes, like, his body is just rattling, his body is just shaking, and he can't stop. He's like, what the hell is going on, you know? And that's when Yan says, oh, you must have pretty good intuition then, kid. You noticed how formidable he was just by meeting him. So I was stating, like, you can't recognize, it's one of those things. He can't sense him because he's a... What series does that do? A bunch of series do it, but I can't think of the one right away. He can't sense... Well, Bleach does it sometime. Bleach definitely did it. I think Dragon Ball did it at some point, and so did Naruto. Either way, basically, their power is so vastly beyond them, they don't feel anything from them. They can't even feel the weight on the pressure and the power that they possess because they're just that stronger. So Yan's actually praising him for not realizing, but his body intuition is like, oh, whoa, he's a tiger and we're a mouse. Wait a minute now, right? So either way, he does talk to him and stuff like that, and even though his body and his intuition, his martial arts training, whatever you want to call it, has recognized that the Connector is a tiger and he's dangerous, his mind can't catch up. He's like, he just looks like a middle-aged man to me. This doesn't make any sense. And Yan's just like, he's just too powerful. He's just the man. He's the Michael Jordan of Kengan, alright? He's the GOAT of martial arts. Let's be real. And then he introduces him. This is my associate, Willem. And once again, we're given the information that he is a unique specimen, even by Westward faction standards. Like, he's a little more special than the average guy. So he's like, all right, let's go grab dinner, boys. I'm hungry. We're heading outside. Let's get out of the inside. I'm hungry. That kind of idea. Now, somebody, after this is the last part of the scene, somebody is eyeing both Shen and Tiger Nico. And who is it? Who is it but the man, the beautiful beast, the legend, Mr. Beautiful Beast, Kiryu Satsuna, sees him, and he's just like, found you. Now, how long has Satsuna been watching? He must know he is no match. Maybe Satsuna could fight. I am of the firm belief that Satsuna, if he's gotten stronger, we haven't really seen him in a fight, really. I would assume he's gotten stronger since Ashore, right? I think we can all gauge that pretty well, and he's even stronger. He could probably put up a fight against any of these guys. He cannot beat Shen. He cannot even touch Shen. I'm going to go off on that one. But could he fight Tiger Nico on equal footing? I don't really know. I think Satsuna has a shot. I don't think it's a no-diff situation. I think it's a relatively fair fight. If not fair fight, he does give them trouble at the very least. But see, here's the thing. It's almost impossible to gauge where Satsuna's at right now. So he's just doing recon. He's doing this smart, but at least he's found who he's after. He's after... I don't really know if he's actually after the Kengan, because he talked about that. Who is he really after? Is he after Tiger Nico for causing all this shit? Or is he after the connector because Tiger Nico works with the connector? I think he's more or less after Tiger Nico than anybody else, first and foremost, because of Oma and stuff. But, hard to say. Now, this is where the actual group gets outside. I don't know if anybody's going to be mad about this, that's the only time we spent in the inside. I'm not that worried about it. I'm glad that they were like, yeah, they boogied the hell out of there. They got out of the inside, and they didn't have any trouble getting the hell out of Dodge, because they got what they came for. This was a rescue arc. That's all it was meant to be. And so they make it outside. They get their taste of freedom, yada yada yada. But of course, they couldn't stop to get Ryuki to a doctor in the inside or anything like that. It's like, no, we got to get out of here. So they got out of there. They're sending for a doctor. I assume it's going to be Hanafusu at some point, but they did. They all made it out there with no real other problem, which a little disappointing, I guess. I sort of expected like Oma to get in way more like fights or something like that, like we'd see Oma kicking ass or something like that, or maybe even Red Pseudo kicking more ass, and Koga learning that he's just not there yet, because we know he's not there yet. But either way, it is what it is. They're out. I'm fine with the pacing. I'm fine that we're over with this and we can start the next stage. So they basically talk about the fact that we had to speed run through the inside and we got there, blah, blah, blah. Koga wants to go with Ryuki and stuff. And they're sort of like, I didn't really get this. I mean, it would have been fine. They're sort of like, yeah, listen, we're going to take him. We got the Kengan Association. We got all this stuff. We're going to go take care of Ryuki. Don't worry about it. You can come see him later. And Koga's like, and he's like, listen, you're probably a lot more tired than you think. The inside probably took a lot more out of you than you think. Sort of like when you're running on adrenaline for all day and stuff like that, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I could probably go another couple hours, and the moment you like sit on the couch for 5 minutes, you're like, I'm just dead because you've been working hard all day, right? You don't realize how much it's taking its toll on you, sort of, is the idea. And plus they need to go see our main man, Yamashita, Mr. Yamagohan himself. Yamagohan needs to be informed that they're alright. You gotta remember, Yamagohan needs to know. So yeah, a phone call could do it, but yeah, we're gonna show up in person. So Oma and Koga go, and they see, you know, Oma's future wife, Kaede, of course, and they go see Yamagohan himself, the man, the myth, the best, the guy who could easily win a Kengan Annihilation tournament by himself. He is the dude. If anybody can take on Shen, we know it's Yamagohan. Yamagohan is the only true, when he reveals his true form and his true 100% max power, he's going to be the one to take on Shen on even terms. You just know it. You know that's going to be the case. But right now he's very worried and he's keeping a low profile, as we know. And here we go. You're safe. This is fantastic. He's like, I was so worried about you. I didn't hear anything. I've been worried sick about you guys. And Owen was like, see, he was worried about us. So, you know, it was a good choice to do this. And Ryuki's going to be in Doctor's good hands. Red Suiter's going to be there. Nothing bad's going to happen. Mukaku's dead. Not that they know Mukaku's dead. I doubt they know that. But either way, and we finally get to find out in this scene. We figure out, like, they talk a few things about it. You know, Mikazuchi fought the worm and stuff like that. They find out about what the news broadcast was about. And we've had big news. And the big news is that the government, a lot of the governments have been hiring this militia group. This big militia group. That purges have been happening all over the place, and they're sort of like, yeah, this seems a little too easy. It's a company. It's this private military company called the Death Dealers. Now, my first thought is, okay, I've heard the term Death Dealers in a couple of fictions. My favorite iteration, of course, is from the Underworld movie franchise. The Death Dealers, they're awesome. Kate Beckinsale, just damn. But either way, so they're called the Death Dealers. They're a private, basically mercenaries or militia force, and they're hired by a private company to take over, and they've just been systematically, the worm has been taken over. Not so much, boom. There's a little bit of what's going on here. It's definitely more on the surface than what it seems, and because who shows up? The CEO. The CEO, and we don't even get his name or his full face. Question mark, question mark, question mark, you know, so clearly it's, you know, Giovanni's son Silver, you know, obviously, because question mark, question mark, question mark has always been that way. Little Pokemon joke there for people who know what I'm talking about. But clearly it's Silver, and he's shiny and everything, right? So it's clearly Giovanni's son. We just know that. But yeah, so he comes up, yes sir, blah blah blah, he's arrived in Japan and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people are going to say, this is the second connector, because before Mukaka died, there's more than one. And I've always been under the impression that the other one is still alive. You know, the one that looks way more like Oma from the flashback from 85 years ago. I'm more under the impression there's more than one. He's that one, but maybe everyone has been saying, no, there's more than one connector, and they're sort of at odds or something like that. Maybe that's why. And Ryuki and Oma. Ryuki is definitely cloned from Shen, but Oma is not cloned from Shen. So that's why he's not me, sort of idea. He's not me. So that's sort of why there's a thing there. So a lot of people have been theorizing there's another connector. Everyone's going to say this is clearly the other connector, or one who's, you know, another Shen Wulong, pretty much, who looks way more like Oma, and this is probably the one that Oma is from. Once again, Oma could literally be a direct descendant, but it's a little too on the nose sort of idea. I'm leaning towards the fact that Oma's actually not a clone, that Oma's a descendant sort of idea, though that theory is kind of losing water because of the heart thing. He's been stated to be a clone, but if he's not a clone of Shen, then there's another connector, and then there's, yeah. Either way, a lot of people here at the end of the chapter are going to assume that this is the other connector. But people who have followed many a manga series, we all know exactly who this is. This is a man, myth, legend. Now, this is the guy. Definitely, if Yamagohan is not going to show us strut his stuff, he's too humble for that, then this is the guy to take on Shen on even footing. Even better footing, in fact, because I know who this is. If you guys have ever read Kenshi's Mightiest Disciple, then we all know who this is. This is actually Hongo. This is Akira Honjo, karate master extraordinaire. And I mean, he cut his hair, obviously, and we can't see the elf ears, but man, I mean, the mustache, the sunglasses, the suit, it's him. It's Akira Honjo. And he is definitely going to be able to kick Shen's ass. So, I'm here for that. I'm here for the fact that we're having a crossover time, people. Let's go, you know? So, until we know this guy's name, as far as I'm concerned, this is Honjo. And definitely, guys, if you love Kengan, like especially the first series, you'll love Kenshi's Mightiest Disciple. It's actually a great fucking series. It's over-the-top superhuman feats, like, you know, but martial arts and stuff like that. It's awesome. It's batshit insane, and it's awesome. So yeah, and there's a lot of fan service there too. So, but either way, yeah, great series. But yeah, so for the foreseeable future, I'm going to call this guy Honjo, and I'm going to assume that Oma is just a clone from this guy. As a lot of people are assuming that, but I'm going to assume that Honjo decided, yeah, I'm gonna be the connector in another series, just for the sake of it, just for the sake of it. So until his hair goes back and we don't, and I don't see the elf ears of Honjo. I mean, he's got the glasses, he's got the mustache, he's got the suit, he's got the hair, and he's clearly this super powered dude who's a military strategist and stuff. Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I really like this chapter. I don't know what you guys are thinking about this. I really like this chapter. I love the comedy. I love that Satsuna's still involved, and we're getting to see some of that. We just ran back through the inside so we can continue on. We know what the news broadcast is about. We've introduced another faction, this private military company, who can systematically destroy worm operations, so they're definitely very strong. I wonder if Mutabata was hired. maybe some more Mutaba action. We love our guy Mutaba, the guy who makes us all feel like we're not good enough in the bedroom. The man, the myth, the legend. But I'd like to see him again. So maybe he's working for this guy. Is he the other connector? Probably, or whatever they're going to call a second connector. Is he one? Most likely. Going to go off on that thing. And so we have the Westward faction, the Wu clan, the Kira clan. We have all this stuff. The Worm and the second Worm that had a division with the Black Ops from Mukaku. We had all this shit. And the entire time there was a whole nother division that was more G.I. Joe version. I don't know. Either way, I really like the chapter. I like the information. I like the pacing. And where's this going to go? Are we going to have another tournament before we do more stuff? I don't think we're getting that Cat 2 for a little while now. I think this is going to evolve into more shit, more operations, more systematic. All right, what's going on with the Worm and what can we do about this? They're going to hear about Mukaku's death. I assume they're going to learn about that very quickly because of all the connections with the inside. They're going to learn about it. Somebody's going to find the body. And yeah, so either way, what did you guys think of the chapter? I really liked it. Apologies that it's a day late, of course, but I had other things going on, and then of course the big stream for the season 2 of the Falsebound League, so there was that. But either way, I apologize for making this a day late, but I really did like the chapter. I really truly did. But what did you guys think? You know, I didn't have any problems other than Tiger Nico being strutting his stuff like he's all that in a bag of chips, and we know he's like a bag of chips that you open up and it's like it's already half empty, you know, and it's just like can't believe I paid full price for this. So that's the type of bag of chips that Tiger Nico is. We know that he's full of literal air, hot air. But either way, I really did like the chapter. So that's it from me. Like, comment, and subscribe, everybody. Sayonara till next time. Chapter 220 probably going to be pretty damn good. Might react to that one, in fact, because I have no idea the direction they're going to take after this, because the arc is pretty much over, this little transition arc. So what's going to come up next, who knows? Probably a good time to react to Chapter 220. But either way, thanks guys for watching. Sayonara. See you next time.